Welcome to a brand new episode of Law and Batting Order. I'm your host, Tony Iliakostas. Here are some quick hits from the past 2 weeks. Rest easy, NFL fans, because the 2013 NFL season is back in full swing. The first game of the season was on Thursday night, featuring a rematch of the 2013 AFC divisional game between the Denver Broncos and the Super Bowl defending champion Baltimore Ravens. But while the Ravens were victorious in the divisional game in last year's playoffs, the Ravens weren't even competing with the Broncos on Thursday night. Broncos quarterback Peyton Manning was on fire throughout the course of the game, finding receivers when he needed to and throwing 7 touchdowns, tying an NFL record. If you want to talk about seeing vintage Peyton Manning, Thursday night was the time to see it. The Broncos easily beat the Ravens 49-27. On the unofficial Labo scale of 1 bobblehead of me to 5 bobbleheads, I'm going to easily and confidently give Peyton Manning's performance 5 bobbleheads, an impeccable performance from a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback. While his former Patriot teammates are on the field gearing up for the NFL season, Aaron Hernandez still sits behind bars. And this past Friday, for the first time since being arrested, we heard Aaron Hernandez speak, uttering the words "not guilty," as he was read the weapons and first-degree murder charges against him. With Aaron Hernandez pleading not guilty, the prosecution and defense teams will be gearing up for trial unless he's made an offer to plead guilty that he can't refuse. However, many legal experts suggest that the trial will not begin until sometime in 2014. In the meantime, despite the overwhelming evidence against Hernandez suggesting that he indeed killed his former friend Odin Lloyd, Hernandez's legal team is prepared to do everything in their power to fight these charges and reclaim Hernandez's freedom. For all you tennis heads out there, we have approached the tail end of the US Open here in New York. It is here that every tennis athlete dreams of making tennis history and winning a championship. On the women's side, Serena Williams single-handedly beat China's Li Na in the semifinals. It is in the finals that Serena will face off against a familiar face, Victoria Azarenka. If history speaks for itself, Serena Williams should win the US Open Finals, as Serena has defeated Azarenka in their previous 2 meetings in the US Open. Over on the men's side, it's a classic final match between Rafa Nadal and Novak Djokovic. The last time Djokovic and Nadal faced each other in the US Open Finals match, Djokovic took home the prize. This should be 2 solid matches, and while I'm not a betting man, I have Azarenka pulling an upset on Serena and Rafa Nadal topping Djokovic. Today's Order in the Court will give a recap of the NFL Concussion Litigation Settlement that ensued earlier this week. This week was single-handedly highlighted by one of the biggest sports law headlines, which was the announcement that the NFL and the 4,500-plus plaintiffs in the NFL concussion litigation reached a settlement to end this legal fight. However, the settlement is pending a judge's approval. According to the judge's order, which you can view by clicking the link below this video, both sides agreed to a $765 million settlement. However, the claim against Riddell, the helmet manufacturer, is still ongoing. According to New York Law School's The Official Review blog, the 4,500 plaintiffs are not getting all $765 million. $675 million will be paid out to each of the plaintiffs involved, which includes the families of deceased players who fell victim to traumatic brain injuries. $75 million will be used for baseline medical exams. Finally, $10 million will be used for research and education. So if we were to take $675 million and divide that by 4,500 players, we get a total of $150,000 being awarded to each plaintiff. Some people took to Twitter and social media to question the payout amount for each player. Some thought it was a bogus settlement amount. Others thought it was a sufficient dollar amount. Some would even be surprised if attorneys appealed the settlement amount. The bottom line is this: the case did not reach trial and a settlement was reached. But was this dollar amount enough? Should the plaintiffs have been awarded more? This gets to the heart of damages. And in today's episode, I'll discuss the justification needed to reach a damage award in a tort action such as the NFL concussion case. As discussed numerous times on Labo, the NFL concussion case was your run-of-the-mill negligence case, in which the 4,500-plus plaintiffs asserted that the NFL had a duty of care to protect players after suffering concussive symptoms on the field. However, the plaintiffs stated that the NFL breached that duty by not providing the medical care needed to help the players recuperate from their concussions. By breaching that duty, the NFL was the actual and proximate cause of the plaintiff's injuries such that harm was caused. In this case, the plaintiff's injuries varied from players suffering severe traumatic brain injuries to even family members losing a loved one because of death. After showing these criteria, it is up to the plaintiff to argue a monetary damage amount. Typically in tort cases such as this, plaintiffs can be awarded actual damages and/or punitive damages. Actual damages are self-explanatory. They are any damages that a party endures as a result of the negligence of the defendant. According to the secondary source, the American Law Report's fourth, case law has shown that a trier of fact must be the determining factor in awarding actual compensatory damages. In this case, actual damages included medical coverage that athletes had to pay in order to treat the long-term brain injuries. In addition to actual damages, it is very likely that in a case like this, the plaintiffs will be awarded punitive damages. However, punitive damages are very abstract, and it's up to a trier of fact to determine if a particular punitive damage award is sufficient. Tort common law has allowed punitive damage awards for loss of life, loss of enjoyment of life, and any anticipated injury that could occur in the future. However, as American Law Report's fourth indicates, punitive damages are subject to legal debate as there is a question of what the standard of proof is for a punitive damage to be awarded. So based on the background of damages, was the NFL concussion settlement amount enough? Perhaps. Ever since attending law school, every professor that I've had told me that 90% of cases end in settlement. It's the 10% of cases that go through a whole trial. My professors have also advocated on numerous occasions that if you have an opportunity to settle, go for it. I understand the $675 million settlement is a small amount to distribute to 4,500 plaintiffs. But in the long run, if the NFL concussion case went through a whole trial, it is very likely that the award for the plaintiffs could have been less than $675 million. In my opinion, the plaintiffs get some type of award, and the dollar amount is such that the players get some type of peace, knowing that the NFL is accepting responsibility for their carelessness in treating concussions. The debate regarding the NFL concussion settlement will resume in the coming weeks and even months. But at least we can say that the NFL concussion litigation has redefined class action lawsuits, and this settlement provides some type of peace to former players and their families. That's the show. Leave all your comments down below, and be sure to visit Law and Batting Order at lawandbattingorder.com, as well as on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Take care, guys.